Several years ago, this fella came and visited us from North Carolina, and told us that we had a long conversation, and he volunteered to give us a Linotype machine. I come from another state where our building was full of old equipment like this Linotype machine, and I just thought it was amazing that somebody from North Carolina was so interested in the Meek school that they would be willing to come over here and make a gift to us. So, Brownie,
thank you.
We're really grateful. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Dean. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. Our journey that culminates today started about 10 years ago when our son Ace told Susan and me that he was applying to the University of Mississippi. And our response was, have you lost your mind? We have such great schools in North Carolina, and he'd never set foot in the state of Mississippi. But let me say that decision that he made was the best decision of his life, and it impacted all of us, and we're so honored to be a part of this. Let me introduce my family. This is my wife, Susan. This is our son, Ace, who's a 2010 graduate of the University of Mississippi School of Journalism. Our daughter, Nan, our grandson, Emmett. We're happy to have Will Boyette, Susan's brother, and his wife, Kenan, a couple of other real special friends. A couple of other special friends are with us today. John T. Edge, who is director of the Southern Foodways Alliance. Susan and I became involved with SFA during the time that Ace was in school here, and we're just so impressed with the work that he does in documenting and preserving and extending Southern culture through the lens of food. And John T., we appreciate you and your program and your friendship and you being here. We're also happy to have with us Lewis Whitley, who is the son of our closest friends in Washington. I honestly, and Lewis will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that our success here with Ace and how much we love Ole Miss and the Oxford community and how kind everyone has been to us, I think really paved the way for his parents saying, you know, it might be okay for him to come here as well.
Y'all are the reason I'm here.
Well, and Lewis graduates in 2 weeks, and so when Ace graduated, Lewis, your parents are going to be just like us. When Ace graduated 5 years ago, Susan told Ace that, Ace, you may be graduating, you may be leaving Oxford, but we're never going to leave. And so your folks will be the same way.
They won't either.
They won't leave either. I was a publisher of the Washington Daily News for 32 years. I graduated in 1978, and when I came home, this machine was in operation. So I'm such a relic in the newspaper industry that I go back to the days of hot lead. The man who operated this machine was a fellow by the name of Bill Daniels. He started to work for our newspaper in 1929. And when I came home in 78, we used this machine for a couple of more years until 1980. He ended up staying with us until 1990 in a full-time capacity. So he worked for us from 1929 to 1990. At his retirement party, I asked him, I said, when you started working in 1929, what was your mentality? He said, I just thought I would work at the newspaper long enough to see if I liked it. And I asked him, I said, well, what did you decide? And he said, I still hadn't decided. So the newspaper industry kind of gets in your blood. When we sold our newspaper 5 years ago, I wrote into the sales contract that I would retain ownership of this Linotype because I wanted it placed somewhere where it would have some meaning. And about 3 years ago, 3 summers ago, Dean mentioned, I walked in his office with shorts on, a t-shirt, and flip-flops, and he did something remarkable. He did not call security. He welcomed me in, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he immediately jumped up. He went and got Charlie Mitchell. They came down here, and they were already plotting where were they going to put the machine. And I think you told me yesterday that when Ace was here, you had 500 or 600 majors.
How many, Charlie? 500?
500, and you know you have about 1,500. Is that right? I think it's remarkable that a school that is so focused on the future of communications is willing to stop and pay tribute and pay homage to our past, our foundation. And that you were so gracious in accepting this gift, and it was such an honor for our family to know that it has a permanent home here at Meek.
It's something I've wanted for a long time, so when you came and offered it, it's something that don't say no to. Maybe we should ask Ace if he was, since he's the graduate of here, to pull the...
If you would, Ace, there's a plaque here on the wall back over here, and if you would remove that, and that'll kind of officially dedicate the donation.
Rip it on off.
What the plaque says, it says Mergenthaler Linotype, circa 1952, donated by Mr. and Mrs. Ashley B. Futrell Jr., Washington, NC Daily News, 1990 Pulitzer Prize for Meritorious Public Service, in honor of Ashley B. Futrell III, Ole Miss School of Journalism, class of 2010. I said we would keep it brief. Thank you all for being a part of this. To Will Norton, Charlie Mitchell, all that you've done, and friends that have gathered here, and it's a real honor for our family to be here and to be a part of this. So thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you, and thank you for moving it from North Carolina. You ought to say something a little bit about how that was delivered here. Take 2 seconds.
Well, when I sold the newspaper, there was no practical way to get this out of our lobby. But I also knew the new owners were planning to remodel the building. And so I coordinated the movement of this out of our building during their remodeling process. And we had to hire a flatbed mover to bring it all the way down here. And then once it got here, Charlie had to figure out someone that knew enough about this that could disassemble this machine, bring it in this building piece by piece, and reassemble it in the condition that it was. And so it was an effort by a lot of folks to get to this point. And I think, Will, you said that at some point you will have a new journalism building, and when you do, it will be moved there one more time to its final resting spot.
Resting place, right. I want you to meet a lot of our faculty members. They've come down here for this. So Deb and Jim and Robert and Christy and Mike, make sure that you all meet the Futrells.
Thank you all so much for being here and for allowing us to continue to be part of the Ole Miss family.
Thank you.